That's
So
a
we're
new
all
thing.
vaccinated.
That's really good. It talks to you now. So whenever the meeting is being, when you start, ours automatically starts recording.
I
So,
got that on a couple of.
which is really nice because I've recorded at least 20 minutes of us walking around, talking and whatnot.
How is it? I'm the only one that's not in the picture.
I want to let everybody know that I'm actually not sitting here drinking wine.
Yeah, well,
I've got a dead camera.
Hey, if I was at home, I'd be sitting
There's
there
always
drinking
an
beer,
excuse.
so. Except that I have to go pick up kids after this. So.
Uh,
And yay, maybe it's a happy dollar today. Well, and I'm gonna wait till next week because I don't want to jinx it. But I've had a sailboat for a while, and I put it on the marketplace, and somebody has cash, and hopefully will meet me later. And I will enjoy the second happiest day of every boat owner's month. The day you sell
I know where there's a good one you can have.
it.
Beside
I'm
the
good.
bridge going to Manio.
Yeah, you know, I have checked that one out, but
It's been there over a year and it hadn't sunk.
well, and they say there's a guy that living in it that would just paddle a little something to shore or whatever.
Okay.
So I don't know, he might still be in it.
Okay.
And he might not be living, but he might still be in it.
There was a big cabin cruiser over in Elizabeth City for years as you went into it. And finally, somebody was living on it for several years. And finally, they abandoned it. The fire department finally burned it down for exercise.
Yeah.
Don't get too many boat exercises.
There's a lot more of that happening now. I mean, they're getting rid of boats. They don't let them set like they used to.
Yeah.
And there's more people leaving them.
Well, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. There's a big cabin cruiser boat, or was down at Worcester Creek last year, all year. I don't know if they got it out or not. Might still be there.
Well, gents, let's get this meeting started. And I don't know if we approved our meeting minutes, but we'll just do that online. I'll just send something out. I think we approved online though. I think Carl sent them out and everybody.
Yeah, he did.
So
He did.
treasurer's report, we're gonna skip over that today. Membership update, Stan.
Yeah, really quick. I got a couple here you guys can look at. Maybe I might have just printed a couple of those. Might have to share. I didn't email it out, John. I'm sorry, but well, that was maybe I just printed it. Okay, here it is. Right now we stand at 43 active. We have 2 honorary and 3 LOA in that 43 active that we want to talk about. Couple prospects, I think they've been around to see everybody. Stephen Smith, who is on the local Boy Scout Council Committee. He's very interested. He's been to several meetings. And Christy Cooper, who is kind of his boss. Steve is a volunteer. Christy is the paid district executive for Scouts. And I met with her Monday at lunch. She's very interested. I probably won't do anything until, how's it going, Bob?
Bob, how's it going?
Yeah, we're in the middle of a board meeting, but you can sit in and listen to us.
All right.
So
I'll hold on just 1 second, but don't run off too far because our next meeting is going to be a foundation meeting and I've got a question for you in there. Excellent. Go ahead.
She probably won't make a decision until end of July because she has to spend 6 weeks at Scout Camp this year. But she is very interested in our club, even though she lives in Camden. because she really felt a very warm welcome to our club. So, and she has to be over here one day a week anyway. And she said she'd just as soon make that Wednesday as any other day.
Well, and the good thing for her too, is she would be able, with a membership, go to any club anyway.
Right. But I asked her to check out the Elizabeth City clubs,
Yeah.
just to make sure that, yeah. So we had a really good meeting, and that's where my new Rotary magazine went to her to look at, because there were some really good
You look at
articles.
it first, though,
I breezed through it.
just read, well,
Had to go to the
mostly,
pictures. Come
yeah,
on.
most of the pictures, but a couple of articles in there.
Yeah, there were. The other thing I wanted to know, we got hopefully 2 visitors today. Somebody contacted Carl, I can't remember her name, and wanted to come today. And friend / neighbor of Rosemary's might be here also. And I need to know the status of Dawn.
Well, I haven't put her lately on.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is it possible for John and Nick, husband and wife, to not take turns exactly, but to be a representative, one or the other at a given point in time?
Not without paying full dues.
Double dues?
Yeah.
I think we'll forget it then.
Yeah.
Because they take turns at the restaurant.
Yeah. What's their
How about-
business?
Stack 'em high.
Okay. Yeah.
And Stack 'em High have a membership.
Yes.
And then whoever represents Stack 'em High on a given day.
Yeah, but it still has to be in the name of people. We talked about corporate. Yeah. It's still, we have a corporate member, Kathleen.
But I think they
And-
can. I mean, it has to be in one, but
It has to be in a person's.
they could send somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think,
I'll look up the details of
Yeah.
what some other clubs are doing and send it to you so you can see it. Because it's a really good option. Okay, just new business, removal of Warren Wren. Unless somebody's been in contact with him, I think he's completely moved out of the area.
that's the last I had heard, he moved back to where Lewisburg. And I haven't heard anything from him since. I would, well, why don't we do these unblock? Go ahead.
Yeah. And the 2 LOA members, Gary High and Lisa Murphy, which we kind of already talked about. You need to decide if we're keeping them. And you said that Lisa just needs to be notified.
Yeah, Lisa just needs to be invoiced and they'll pay her national and district, and Gary probably be a good honorary.
I think that really makes sense.
Keep the discounts from expertise kind of.
That's right. Everybody in agreement for removing Warren Wren from our honorary and adding Gary High as an honorary and
Sure.
Lisa Murphy and Sam.
Stan, I have a question though. Do we have any sense of how many of the people are going to be returning when the world comes back to normal?
I think we're probably going to be dropping about 2 or 3. Amazingly, not many clubs are losing people at this time. People are really starting to come back, which because I get to see the whole district, and actually I get to see the whole world, but I don't want to look at that. It's a little too big. But just looking at the East Coast, people are not leaving now. Actually, more people are joining now that they can get out. Which the overall net, the district last week gained 1 member. The week before, the whole district gained 2 members. Nationwide, I would say 75% of the districts nationwide are increasing slowly, but they're increasing versus decreasing, which is
Which is what was happening this time last year.
man. Well, December and January were horrible. We just, the whole world took a nosedive.
You think people moving around, moving to new communities?
I think that's some of it.
Meet people and get acquainted with their new communities.
Oh, yeah. And that's, the new people we've got, that's mostly what it is. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's wonderful.
I think it was very nice, Dan, for you to submit this report respectfully.
Old school stuff coming back now.
It's the records.
18th century language.
No, you did that. That's how you did your reports at GE. And that might have been 18th century too. What you didn't do is the one thing I did to Jack Welch he was a money guy, bottom line all the time. And we had to go to, I don't know, it was probably New York. We did reports on the old slide projectors, overhead projectors, and everybody got a book, and I was one of the last ones to go, next to last. And I was watching, people reacting, they were paging through his slides, except Jack, he turns to the back page, bottom line. Well, I took it out of his book. Fire my ass.
So you were angling for early retirement.
I had 20 years in. And I was ready. I don't think Patsy was, but I was. But he said, there's a page missing in my book. And I said, so that's so you can pay attention to what I'm talking about and not wasting my time. And he said, that's very funny. He said, don't ever let it happen again.
And he didn't fire you?
No, I
So you were
didn't let it happen again. I saw the guy came after me to check, make sure it was in the back of his.
All right, this is kind of an ongoing discussion. I think the last couple meetings were definitely upticking, and we seem to be averaging close to 12. My thoughts are this, because I think we are really at this point could probably jump to every week, but I think we've got a nice natural invoicing break in a month. And I think we should start in July, and that way our next kind of sort of topic, we start invoicing, we can invoice the way we always have, and we don't have that weird month or few weeks of trying to make a hybrid. So does that sound reasonable?
That sounds reasonable.
How about you, John?
Yep.
Starting your term, back every week.
I know.
The other thing, and
I'm
this is
excited.
one of Kearns's discussions, and Carl and I have talked about this a little bit too. And I suspect as we start invoicing folks, some will want to go to the family membership. I think, and we've seen in COVID how much of a disaster that is to try to keep tabs on. Who showed up? How do we bill them?
Well, especially that first quarter. We screwed the cooch.
Well, that first quarter we didn't. Michelle wasn't there, and we just weren't there.
We were trying to pick up.
Our six cylinder was banging on about 2, 1, 2, maybe 2. We were
At least 2.
we were on at least 2. So I think we should just invoice people that are on family membership and for their meals, have them pay as they come. And Carl was telling me, I can get from Carl whether he just paid for this to run it or he's looking at it for the finance for DAC-DB. He says that as you're doing attendance, you can actually invoice people for the meals through that finance module.
Right.
So I think in my mind, we do that, and that'll make it easy because Kearns doesn't want any more extra work, and whoever's going to be treasurer ongoing, we got it. And that's really why I wanted you here today, because you have a lot of ideas about how to keep that work down, and we need it. And we need it.
Well, my thinking is we got a card reader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, if they don't have the cash to pay for their meal, then we can run their card.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the finance module has it set up for that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think
it's great.
I mean, I really think We should do that really soon, like next meeting, start.
Well, the way,
I'll send,
right, as soon as we can get that module set up,
yeah,
because checking that box is in the module that we just put in there last year. It's not participation, whatever the hell it is, not attendance either. Hey, young lady,
I left at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock.
you left at
Oh, yeah.
11.
I know, Lori's still stuck up there.
You should,
She told me she wouldn't. she
Good
didn't
to
think
see
she'd be
you.
able to make it.
Thanks.
you should have taken a vote
If I had a vote, I would.
badly, right?
So sorry.
So we're gonna start, just to catch you up quickly, we're gonna start in July, meeting every week.
Okay.
We're gonna start, for those doing the family membership, whenever we get the finance module set up and going, we're gonna start invoicing everybody per meal, or have them just bring their money, cash or card, and do it there.
Somebody has to be set up to do that.
We will be set up to do that.
You're talking about
Terms
people with
and
family
months.
members,
Yes.
not the rest of them.
Well,
Right, if you
yeah, the
had.
rest of us, starting in July, we're gonna go back on
Back to the
the
old system.
196 a quarter or
Okay.
whatever it is, and
Let's go to even 200 at least.
even
least.
200.
Well, unless
let's-
we look at the expenses for.
Right.
last
That's
year.
what I'm thinking.
I
is
think we need a bit of a price increase.
we're gonna need a bit of a price increase. We're
And
gonna,
we need to
What
check.
are other clubs doing?
we need our QuickBooks so we can see where we are.
Yeah.
And I sent that email out today. And like I said earlier, I told Joe that just to send our district dues, which was 1,600 for the whole year, give or take. I said, send those checks, reconcile. He wanted to reconcile and then get me QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll happen soon.
Depends on how much entering he has to do and how many reconciliations he has to do.
Yeah.
If he's way
I
behind.
don't think I don't think we've paid much, so there shouldn't be much.
Yeah, there's a few out there, because I know Carl hasn't been paid.
I know, but
And I
I'm
haven't
saying
been
that
paid.
it shouldn't be in QuickBooks because it hadn't been paid.
Well, yeah,
He's,
the check hadn't been generated.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
So
So,
hopefully not too long.
and if it's been generated by him, it hasn't gone to anybody to get paid, which wouldn't be on the bank ledger, which you wouldn't have it there to reconcile.
Yeah.
So,
So
so I will keep you
that's
updated
that's another subject we have to talk
as
about.
we get that. And then what I really want to set up, we kind of talked about this last week, or you and I talked about it a little bit. I'd like it to be where we can have somebody like you or somebody who's an accountant or somebody like, I think David would fit that bill too, because he's heavy in the finance world and he helps them with bookkeeping, so he's very
Yeah,
familiar.
David's been treasurer before. David
Yeah,
do everything.
so I think I would like to see it where y'all serve as almost like an auditor.
Yeah.
Once, maybe twice a year,
Account review.
come check, account review. Make sure that whoever he's got in there, whoever we have in there is simple.
Right.
I also talked to Carl about and Kearns had made this suggestion, I think it's a good one, of having Oink and Oyster have one person manage the books on that one. It takes the heat off the treasurer because that's kind of one of the bigger things you
Right.
got to juggle.
Biggest
And
money.
B, it can be a good place for us to test somebody. Make sure that they're, before they get it all, they can at least manage an event.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you want to test somebody, send them on a global mission. Keep the books
oh gosh,
in a
yeah,
foreign country.
yeah. They have to,
Down in
They have-
Honduras.
They have to do it on. Go to Morocco, see how that.
yeah. I'll pass for now.
I was,
2021, 22. John and Rosemary, all we have to do is get you guys a VP. So the next month, we need a VP. Carl has agreed to step up as treasurer.
Uh-huh.
And then we have John Polk, and I know Carl and John have been talking, so it sounds like that's moving along. John contacted me a couple days ago, said he wasn't going to make the meeting, but if he could see the recording, he would do the minutes and send it out. So
Great.
that's
Got
definitely
John.
John Polk.
John Polk.
Is second.
Yeah, John Pucciano is going to be pres. You're going to be president-elect. We need the VP, and that's it. That's it.
And
Hey,
everybody else but
that
that, huh?
was all three, which is where we were about a month ago.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make that announcement today, and I'm gonna make it every time, but hopefully we'll have somebody step up into that VP spot.
Who hasn't done it yet?
Well, there's been a lot, but we have a half of our membership is up for 2 years.
Yeah.
Is one
By
of
then
them.
it'll be under 5 years.
Yeah.
A little
Well,
closer. Closer. You
Twist some
probably
arms, twist some arms. International Service Share, we had talked online about making this a position. I think that we should table that. Let's get our club more stable and then consider, because if we do add that, as Carl mentioned in the last email, we're gonna have to change the bylaws or just have it as a non-official designation and have that person, if they're on the board, be a board member at large.
Well, yeah,
I
that
think
doesn't
that
have to
would
be a board
fine.
member. The membership chair is a designated as a board member.
Yeah.
be one of the
So
project chair.
I think still table it, because
I agree.
I think
What
I'd
about,
like to see us more stable before we start jumping into international.
Yep. Agreed.
Additional international projects. And I think we should try to get something where maybe we play a little more role than ponying up the money. Not necessarily that we take it over, but maybe we co-sponsor or we're an 8th sponsor, something that gets us in it a little bit more so that we can plan it.
is this the one that was just presented?
No,
Talking about,
no.
or past that?
it was before that,
The first one that was presented.
right, which is the Honduras.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it
Is that
sounds,
the one?
it sounds like both. Well, it sounds like the second one is an ongoing project and that's not going anywhere anytime soon. They've got a lot to do at that one place. The third one sounds like they are knocking them out. And if we want to join with them, we'll have, because they've already done about 15 of them. in
These
the
are
past.
the water tanks in the
Yeah.
in the wells.
Yeah, so that seems like they're
Well, who was pushing Joe to find projects?
Don was pushing Don.
Milbrook.
Don wanted to do international. And we've talked about too, and Dick has also made several mentions over the years that we should really,
He just sounded like he was struggling a little bit to find projects.
we gave him guidelines. So we said we want it within the Americas so that, and we want to try to find something where there's hands-on. And that's a tough one.
So is it
Okay.
international if it's in America?
In the
America.
Americas, yeah, South America, somewhere
Western Hemisphere.
we could reasonably fly and come back in a few days, maybe. Easier to travel to get to,
Preferably Costa Rica.
preferably. Honduras is pretty good.
Well, if you can avoid the gangs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
when I went to Guatemala, you go this direction, you don't go that.
Go alone.
You don't go to the west, you don't go to the east coast, you go to the west coast.
Fortunately, I've done Central America.
Bank
60s.
signees.
Yeah.
I think with Joe stepping down, we need to re-change that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, you're already on it. You're actually the only person besides Colin that's on the bank account currently. Which tells you how often that's been,
Tells you how
it
closely
gets
the banks
changed
look
every
at it.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I think, that should be, John, Rosemary. Were you on the last one when we did it or no? Okay. Kearns and Carl.
Unless you just put me on it.
really, I think that's all that needs to be on it for now. Do I hear a motion to add those to the bank, as bank signees?
I make that motion.
Second. Or can I second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep,
Any opposed?
Oh, well, good.
All right. What we will do is, we'll have to have you go to the, what is it now, First National Bank? Used to be ECB. They've
Yeah.
changed names
One
like
across
that.
the street from Town
First
Bank.
National Bank of Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
seriously.
it's, you know where Food Line is in Southern Shores, Rosemary?
Yep.
So you'll just need to go and they'll need information, and then after they get everybody lined up, then everybody, I don't know, they all try to get it done so that they can put it in at once.
And the branch manager, Pat Lamb, is a former club member. I've mentioned it 2 other times. Might work on her too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, for our regular meeting, that is all I have. Does anybody else have anything?
I think, are we gonna have a board meeting in June?
We are gonna probably need to have a board meeting in June.
I would like to make sure that we add a good look at the dues structure, because by then we should know if international is going to go up. I don't think district is,
Okay.
but international may.
Always does a little bit.
They don't nudge it a lot.
They might nudge it more this year. Yeah.
And, you know, we need to take a look. Hopefully, by the next board meeting, we'll have some kind of idea of what our club situation is.
Yeah.
If we need to raise it a couple bucks just to help the club out, because we don't take much dues club wise.
Well, my observation, it's been 196 for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, since before I was treasurer.
Yeah, I think it says ever since I've been in the
You know,
club.
everything goes up. And the other thing is, I'm sure this is still the case. As more people pay with the credit cards, club is losing about 3%. So instead of getting the 196, you're getting 190.
Yeah.
So,
Always add a few dollars in.
What about the restaurant meals? Are they staying stable or are they going?
Well, we probably need to
There-
check.
Yeah, so
Are we
the
staying
restaurant meals works out great if we have 18 or more. We really need about 18 to make it to what we've been paying.
Oh, what were you last 2 weeks ago? Close to 18?
No, we weren't close to 18, maybe 12. We've been right at 12 the last 2 times we've met. And that's why I say, I think in June, or July, I would say
Yeah, I
start
agree.
sooner, but I think that invoicing, we don't want, it's just gonna make it so much easier to start in July.
my past experience with the restaurant is let them sleep. Because if you ask them, then
It's
they're
an
gonna look
opportunity.
at it and they're gonna raise it.
I agree.
But if you leave them alone, you're not gonna do anything. So wait until they come to you with an increase.
They'll,
And
they'll,
then we
they'll
can-
do it like our dues, and that we haven't raised in 5 years or so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years.
So is the meeting gonna remain here?
The meeting's gonna remain here. I mean, and we looked at this, what was it, 7 years ago now we moved here? It's been about 7
Wow, that's
years, 6 years.
I had the impression that there wasn't gonna be enough membership to keep it.
There's not a lot of options.
Yeah, we only came up with 2 options, this and the Ramada. And I have thought over that last year. It's just a tough one if we keep it a morning or a noon meeting, which is the way it's been for 28 years. I think that here is what we've got, and I don't think it's going to be a problem once people start coming. When we were before COVID, we were having 25 or so a meeting. I mean, we got to the point where this part of it was full. We were having to
Yeah.
expand into there. So I think we'll be there in 6 months. if
Right,
not
and I think
sooner,
during the next month, we need to encourage people to,
to come back.
Yeah.
Have we lost any?
we
To
have,
be determined. but-
yeah, it's, nobody has come out and said, except one. Our treasurer, he went on leave of absence, but I think he thinks that's a non-paying position membership,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah.
You still pay on a leave of absence. Yeah.
Just FYI, our closing on our house is going to be on the 11th of June.
Okay.
And we're coming home right after that. So the next meeting that I'll be able to come to is on the 16th of June.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
Hi, John.
Yes. He's sitting there drinking wine.
I know, it's like not getting any smaller. Whatever you're drinking there is not getting any smaller.
I would have guessed too with that wine.
Look like beer.
Yeah.
It does look like beer, doesn't it? But I think it really is wine.
Making me
You think
thirsty.
it's wine?
Yeah,
It's been a long time since that was,
How many
I
of
was
those?
younger when I took that picture.
All right. Any other topics before we stop this meeting and go to a quick foundation?
I think I can cover it under foundation, but I had two things that I sent to you, Jay, two opportunities. One, I wouldn't call it service, but Rob got a hold of us. We can sponsor a hole and set up a table or tent and hand out literature or whatever. And he came to me yesterday. He says, if you want to set up a stand to sell hot dogs, whatever, you can do that too to raise money. This is on June 11th, I think it is, over across the bridge. So I'd like, if you guys, I mean, I'd gladly go help and work it.
Which golf course?
Kilmarnock. On your side of the bridge.
So we have 3 of them, I guess. in
Yeah.
another small area.
So, think about that, and I'll talk to you at the end of the regular meeting to see if, the other one is July 4th weekend. Cameron and Kim got a hold of me, and they're looking for food vendors at the Independence Day celebration on July 5th, Monday, from 5 to 9 in historic Corolla Park.
What
And
day is that? It's a Monday.
Monday,
So
Yeah.
good.
Monday the 5th. And they usually get 7,000 people at the park on that day. They have, right now, they just have one other, as she calls it, real type food vendor. She's wanting somebody to do just hamburgers and hot dogs. It's a great opportunity. Carl and I talked about it a little bit. Carl's not going to be here that weekend. I'm going to be in Kansas that weekend. But
I'll have company.
I'll be working.
so
No.
maybe I can bring it up to the club
Yeah. Why don't
and
we,
see if anybody's interested.
why don't
It's a
you,
tough weekend.
I think for that, for both of those, why don't you email it? And I think especially the golf tournament, I mean, as long as we can get a couple of people to work it.
Because we already have literature to hand out.
Yeah. I think go with that one if you can get people to work it. For the food one, I think we need at least probably 5 or 6 to work it.
Yeah, because that's a long day
Yeah.
of vending.
Yeah. I would send those out and I would send them out separate. And just see if you. can
Yeah,
get
oh,
them
I
in
always send them separate because nobody reads all the
there. Oh,
I
yeah,
found you in my trash box.
absolutely. You did?
All this time I thought you were dissing me. There you were.
There I was, in trash.
Hey,
I think
what
it's
are you
those outlooks.
doing in there, Jay?
I think it's those updates that come through
Outlook?
periodically. You know your computer, you
Yeah.
boot it up, it's got an update, you don't really know what it is. I think it's done something to Outlook, because I had that problem the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Disappear.
I sent a client an email saying, hey, I need this. I don't get a response. Call them.
That's a.
I know I don't respond.
it's in trash.
that's
Well,
right.
let's jump to the foundation meeting. I've got two things there. One, I had another thing.
So do we have a
Oh, I have
foundation
three, yeah.
account? And a
We
club
do.
account?
We have
Foundation's
two
a
club
separate
accounts,
legal entity.
I believe, and a foundation account. So,
At the same bank.
and that's why we just ended our regular meeting. We are now starting our foundation meeting. The Hutakapa Water Project, they were close. Don donated, I think, to our foundation, $1,500 to add to the 2,500 we committed
Right, and
to make it 4,000.
I made another donation too.
So we just need to, I guess, update
And yeah,
that
I mean,
with the under.
I did mine electronically.
Okay.
That's beyond me. I'll just send a check. to someone.
So
Did
is
you-
that because there isn't funds in the
Others-
foundation?
There's some who just people wanted to add. Well, if you want to add more, you can make a tax deductible donation. to the
Well, I think-
foundation.
I think the
Which
other
can't
part
do
of it
regular funds.
is,
Right.
you know, it's nice to get funding for the 2,500 we committed. As a
Without touching that.
foundation. Yeah. So,
Just trying to
and if
understand where
if
you're
folks want to make it as an additional, I think that's good. And I think the question, do we have a small fundraiser for that? I think what we should do looking forward is try to have small fundraisers throughout the year and use that money unless we get into something more heavy, and then we'll have to plan something bigger. But I don't think as a club we're there yet.
Is the foundation money invested in anything, or is it just in the account?
As far as I know, it's just in the
Right,
account.
it's just figuring it
But
It's not an awful-
I don't think we got a ton.
out.
I think
David Warner told us that we really needed to get up to about 40,000 before we needed to come see him to invest it
Yeah.
better than the money market.
And so how many do we have in there now? How many thousand?
I don't have a clue.
Good question.
It's under 10.
It's under 10, but I don't think it's a ton under 10.
It's
However,
pretty good, but
we do have at least with this, probably about 6 or 7 that's gotta come out of it. So it's one of those that we really need to see. I guess I could always go to the bank, but
Time's wasted.
okay. Bank signees, does everyone agree that it should be the same signees that are on the?
absolutely.
Okay. You want to make a motion for that?
I make a motion. Second. Aye,
So does your foundation have a president, vice president?
same as the club. Same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Who does?
Try to keep it as simple as possible.
And the other one, which I think is an odd situation, and it's one of those deals where you deal with a company and you just want to bang yourself in the head. So, and this is where Bob was going to come in. So to my knowledge, there's about $4,000 that we have in our foundation for the Cutler Memorial Project. So as far as I know, if it's donated for that cause, it has to, if it's earmarked for it, and as far as I know, they all were, it has to be. The bench I bought, I paid for it myself back in January, was about 1,000, 1,200, somewhere around there. That company is a bear. It finally got to the point they'd given me 2 days that we're going to ship. They won't answer the phone. I mean, I except for when I was looking to buy it back in the day, which my mom said, you usually find somebody else's phone to borrow a call because they probably have your number in their system. Anyway, couldn't find out. I got a call from a shipping company about 2 weeks ago, said they wanted to confirm the address where the bench was gone. And I said, that's the right address. I said, I called to cancel the order, but you're the shipping company, so you just need to make sure it goes to the right place. Bench showed up yesterday from the original company. We had been talking to, and I'm not quite certain if they've started to order the other one. I had told the company, the first company, cancel the order, and the bench showed up yesterday. And I've told them, I've emailed them twice to cancel the
The
order.
second bench may be coming.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Have
here's
you put
the
anybody on?
kicker. We have the money for a second bench.
Well, what's your plan to do? Could you
Well,
put it outside your bench shop
That
and
is
for people to wait?
that is the question at hand.
Well, you could refuse the delivery, but that's kind of putting it on.
Good, but then again,
Or
the bench is there. It's been delivered. We're kind of late on that game. And the bench
Yeah,
didn't get
that
delivered. It got delivered to Cut Over Hill Building and Grounds. And as far as I know, it's getting put in today. I meant to swing by and look.
But the second one, you can't cancel or.
We,
not accept
yeah.
it.
My question is,
Do we want two benches?
do we want two benches?
What are you gonna do with it?
Well, it's to put it in a park.
To put it in another
Yeah,
location?
we can just call it a Rotary bench.
You could put it
Yeah.
in the-
You know,
it's like-
I have a very long-term seed of a project
Yeah,
to take over Hayman Park as Rotary Park
there you go.
and put in several benches because we've lost some great members that mean a lot to this community.
Yeah.
That we could do something like that.
So you're saying you can go in your garden until it's ready?
I got several benches.
I
there
think
already.
the other part of it is that, I mean, and I guess we'll have to look and see. Does-
Cody comes off.
Okay, I think, yeah, we need to take under consideration, but I think there's a use for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I wanted, since the bench got delivered yesterday, I haven't contacted, the last time I contacted the company, we shouldn't have a second bench coming, I'd say. They said, as soon as we get a signed order, and neither I nor the guy from Cut Over Hill, we were gonna run it through Cut Over Hill because it made it quicker. And they already have an accountant. They haven't signed one either. So as far as I know, the bench we have is the only one that's
Okay.
right.
sounds good.
If we get two benches, I guess we'll
Come
sort
to
that
it,
out.
we'll cross that bridge or
Yeah.
sit on that bench. when you get
We'll sit on that bench when we get there.
I looked at my very detailed Outer Banks map, 2012. I could not find a Haven Park anywhere,
I'll bring it up on my.
including somewhere around milepost 5.5.
It is.
It's
Well,
on
five and three quarters.
West side. on
So I
Haven
understood,
Drive.
yeah.
It's a little green circle.
Yeah.
It's not-
We'll show it to you. I'll take you down there after the meeting.
Might see them putting in the
Yeah.
bench. So,
Okay,
That's all I have. Does
Okay.
anybody have anything else?
have we covered these foundation issues? That's a bank signees, same thing.
Everybody, I don't know if you voted for it, so. All in favor of all the bank signees being the same as the club, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Hey,
Motion passed.
Fantastic.
John has a very stentorian voice when it comes over the system.
I think it's all that stuff he's
Probably is.
Probably-
But it's drinking it very slowly, unless that's another glass.
All right. Without further ado, I'll call this
Joe.
meeting adjourned unless anybody has anything else to say.
No. All in
Adjourned.
favor?
All right.
Aye.
Good job.
All right. 2 meetings in 40 minutes.
Did good.
I need a nap as well.
Done good. All right, we got some. Yes.
We got some guests and Rochelle made it. Hey, how are you?
He's a speaker to the-
No idea. to be perfectly honest with you.
The need to sit on this side of the table.
Great. Everything going well in your world?
I feel like I'm in another country, so you can come down that east side.
Yeah.
I used to,
Well, it's good. Thanks for showing up. Good to see you.
No, I'm staying.
And,
when you get back home, it'll be a lot. And one of the other guys will do quicker than I can do that.
I know, right?
I would say
It was kind of nice for me.
Yeah, I'll confirm that.
We did like on.
We could probably can roll these. Well, May and September will be like.
July.
Same as the book. And then also.
Yeah, I'm still thinking long term here. Well, I cover 5 counties, neither of which is there. But all 5 of them are going to either continue to offer or start a real actual county. Some of them have crowding issues and or way. Sports, nice.
But I know some that
They won't ever go
All
there.
right,
Stuff,
better. Yeah.
but it does, yeah, there's possibilities. Yeah, jobs are going
But, you know,
cover.
the world would like.
Like, before they could share for building school, before they could-
well, no, just wanted,
They had to do that, you're trying
there
to-
might be a second one ordered.
They're really good. Maybe 2000.
Although typically that's a finger injury.
No, we don't. We have
I'm here.
I wasn't sure when the sign.
Well, I'll get you in here.
Hi, I'm Susan. Nice to meet you.
Remember Carl J. Texas.
It's, you probably know my mother-in-law Sherry. I know I can't come. Oh,
Right,
perfect.
it's, right now we're doing every other meeting. We're on Zoom next week. And I need your signature. not your signature. George. Can you find yourself?
It's been so long. Oh, gosh, yeah. Yes, yeah. How they go
I'll probably wear a big print.
You guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right now, it seems like, I'm just about here.
But that's. Started this year. We also.
Hi guys. Welcome to Rotary. Haven't seen you like 2 weeks. I'm glad you're here. Hey young man. Welcome to Rotary. And you're not wearing a tie. Damn, we're breaking you down.
That's the last year.
Yeah, is that right?
We did earlier.
Hey, Steven.
That's the, yeah, that's
Another person supposed to walk.
How are you? You did that video last week. Was that supposed to go this week? Good. There's a lot of discussion. And I want to
It's really cool. I know people go up there and I just ran it. I went to CVS already. Yeah, I think I will still probably get up there. And I'll be done. And he was gonna do it for me, but he left. I'm good. A few days later, I got a call. But he was back. Yeah, I know that. I'm a volunteer. Yeah. For help for one of the days.
She's been pretty.
So they're trying to figure out what.
These other ones, it looks like they're
Great.
wet.
Nice.
And we're gonna go get the rice and stuff and help you start.
I do, public health, but I was in
Jay and Stan are
Really getting better. I think, because normally they have 8.
Yeah.
And right now they're 6. The norm is 8.
The longer term is really, I think the really cool all of this work for an hour.
Lori.
We were actually walking up the line on that north, like, and like, I said, hey, you live here? They said, you want to sell your house? Holy staff. They were trying to buy something. What happened?
Hello, online folks. Steve, how are you? You're still muted there.
Good, how are you?
I can't complain. We had a good advancement ceremony the other day.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah. Had all mine there except my son. He was in Mexico.
I didn't know what we put.
Recording in progress.
To attract and retain more youth who embrace the scouting values and develop through our program and experiences. We must act with urgency. We have to effectively collaborate across all stakeholder groups.
Things going well in your world?
We're gonna go get some food.
You still have chicken?
one day.
Yeah, one left from our second batch that we got originally.
Well, okay. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what that.
I have, 3 of 7. I did stick one of those at 6. And we turned out the one on the road.
Yeah.
Black top.
Oh,
Yeah. So, I found some.
we actually didn't understand it. One over, but.
Yeah. And he's not the same person anymore, but I talked to Rotary. He said. Yeah.
The Holy Spirit was not inspired. Yeah. Terrible. And I'm really, I think my neighbors. We have one who's very proud, very sweet. There. I was seeing 100. I'm so glad.
California Y, which is a legroom. And she has been the brilliant.
We have one that goes through about the time every year. She's just kind of. We got it out. I don't know. She's her brother actually.
She's usually not. She's usually let her hang and get out of there. She don't want to sit in one spot. Like,
And,
chickens are funny.
yes, that is true. So he wants to move in there.
Still got your chickens?
Got 3 of them. They're laying pretty good right now. They're not young. They're 4 now, I think.
We're both. They go down there.
They're earning their keep.
Deal.
It's nice because I've got 3 now, and if they could lay the amount of eggs they're laying right now year round, I'd just they stop.
Is it gonna be traumatic when they stop laying?
Forever. If it were me, yeah. If it's not just me, no, they're gonna live out there.
I remember my
You can
father,
grind them up and make some good chicken sauce.
my father telling me about back during the Depression, when the milk cow quit giving milk. That was like the only time they had beef.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't really like today.
That rock, it's gonna be worth its money. I'm wondering when you're gonna get a bill for rock eventually. It's gonna be from the road. October. What's that? I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Laura Hewitt was supposed to be, but I don't think she's back.
I am a road.
I know you are. Good point.
Grew up at, it's either strong wolf to stay here or strong. I don't feel here forever. Right, like.
I thought about that road deal you just mentioned when they bought the black Suburban.
Mhm.
Going, I wonder how long it's gonna last.
Well,
A friend of ours built a log house way down this dirt road. And then they bought a black Suburban.
Black shows for more than a white car.
But I've got other friends there, so I can drive
first time
over.
Mary gets stuck on the road.
See him a couple times.
He's out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that,
Not a good road either.
yeah, dirt road, it gets muddy. But yeah, I know the black car thing. I had a black Firebird back in '78. When I was a 19-year-old Burt Riddle. Except my Firebird was from 1970.
Well, I think we'll definitely, hopefully we'll see, as people get back more, we can get on with it more, or once we get everything running a little more, get our bearings greased a little bit better. I'd like to see it.
You want to go back.
Few people.
Every time I go by here, but he walked it off. I made him walk off. He wants to go back to the chair.
Hey Carl, how are you?
That's where
Diane.
That's Diane coming on.
Sorry, I missed the board meeting. I was
Your computer does something really weird. It's real quiet for about 10 seconds. And then it cranks up.
DJ.
I said, your computer, like if you start talking for about the first 5 or 10 seconds, it's quiet. And then the volume about doubles. It's done that, I don't know, the last several months, I've noticed.
Pretty weird.
Still in Florida.
So are you here? Or are you in Florida now?
I'm in Florida now.
Is it hot there?
85, which is kind of normal. 85 and 85. It's temperature here doesn't get in the 90s. But it's not bad right now.
Yeah.
Welcome down.
I would say talk this in a second.
Yes.
It's about,
Yes.
it's about 85 here right now, I think.
Okay, yeah, I think that's.
With at least that percentages of humidity.
85.
Oh, hey, Stan, if you or Jay, while you're who else is there, I've got you, Kearns, and Stan. Who else is there at the meeting?
Rosemary and John.
Yeah.
Oh, I think John Pucciano was on the phone, was on the screen here with me.
What's that?
You talking about John Pucciano? I thought he was on the he's on the Zoom call.
John was on Zoom, yeah.
Yeah, who else is there at the meeting inside at the no at the lunch meeting?
Oh,
I'll send you a list.
Oh, okay.
Ken
Cool.
will send you left.
We got at least 10 or 12.
13 total.
Okay. Cool.
You've been down recently?
Carl, I think Stan took a list of the people who were there
Yeah.
before we got.
Oh, good. Appreciate that. Bob was wanting to know how many people was- You going? Yeah, I'll go ask. You could get some folding chairs there for the people that are coming to them. So I have 4 or 5. I'll go through some. Flown by, hadn't it? Yeah, it really has. Our summer intern showed up last week. Colleges are all out.
Now, what do y'all have this summer intern doing?
This is his second year, so he's going to be doing some real work this year. Well, like assistant on audits and stuff like that, bookkeeping, that. You know, easy tax returns, like, you know, somebody got their, you know, kid or something, you know, it's got to really this year, like tax stuff, a little bit more challenging.
Good. Graduate, get him in there.
I hope so. Problem is, years ago, they changed it where you had to have 150 hours, not a master's, but 150 hours to take the CPA exam. So the professors talk all these kids into getting a master's. Yeah. When they start working on their masters, all the big firms start recruiting them real hard, having these wine and cheese socials and all this.
Like a little hot camp.
Yeah. That's an idea.
Start getting them up and,
Actually, it takes somebody like that that, you know, that likes hunting, fishing, and golf to live on the Outer Banks. But then the dating scene is kind of tough.
Oh, yeah.
find somebody in their life. They're not married, they're following up. Get divorced.
Rob Jr., they call him Junior. Hallie, Sherry, two available. Oh my God. So Jira has away maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and also Judy is fighting. Crazy.
Big part.
Yeah, well, you got some new faces here. Or new men.
Yeah, it's still the same. Finish the probate. Yeah. In the house. Sorry, were you on the stage?
Well,
I was on the way
it's
at the end of that.
Yeah.
What- I agree. It's been a while. First flag Rotary Club, please come to order. Man. Cheat sheet here. Y'all don't want me without a cheat sheet because I've got a mild to moderate to maybe more ADD and I can run off on a tangent in a heartbeat. So that train will sail. Rosemary, I want to pick somebody in the back. Would you lead us, please? Pledge of allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And stand.
If you bow your head. It's just really great to see people's faces, their whole face, and the smiles, and the joy of the reflection of coming back to life as a community. It's awesome, but let us remember the price that we paid and to understand what's gone on in the last year, 16 months, that a lot of people haven't made it through that. But as Rotarians, we take what we have and the joy on our faces and in our hearts and share that with the world by offering our services beyond what we can do because we do it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. How is everybody today? Good. Lori, I'm glad you made it from Kerala. Yeah, it sounds like fun. Rosemary said she had an awesome time. Not on Taco Wednesdays, right? So, well, before this meeting, our board got together and we mostly talked about boring stuff. So I won't spare you. I'll spare you all that. But the one thing that we did talk about that is going to be exciting is that starting in July, we are going to go to every week here, hybrids here. So we'll continue with our Zoom program because we kind of committed to that. But so put that on your calendars. We'll be here every week starting in July. And that will be the second week of July because we always don't have a meeting on the week of the 4th of July, which I believe would be July the 7th. The date. So
Oh, that's true.
should be the 14th. Yep. So July 14th. After that, we get to induct officers, and that will bring me to another thing. Right now, we have all positions. Someone interested? We still need a vice president. So if somebody from the club, I'd like to see somebody step up to. Good thing about VP is usually for 2 years, you just learn the position. Occasionally, you'll run the meeting. The last year, unless it's a COVID year, the which we're not going to have that anymore. It's not terrible. I've enjoyed being president even during the COVID year. So, but anyway, if someone would like to step up as VP, I'd love to. I'll send out an email later on. You're gonna get me bugging you for the next month because we have to have somebody by that meeting in July, so we can induct. This coming Monday, on Memorial Day, we will be having at 11 a.m. Armistice Day time. Correct, Mr. Cutler? Memorial Day, 11 a.m. for Mark Cutler, who is our past member. Most of you know Mark, but we are doing a bench, a memorial bench, and which will have a plaque. So we'll be passing off the plaque to the town of Kildover Hills, and they will mount it. The bench is going to be seated. I don't know if it'll be there on Monday, but either way, it will be there eventually. It's going to be right in front of Mark's home on Heyman Park, which is about mile marker 5.5, 5 3/4 on the west side in Kildover Hills. So we'd love to see everybody there, and I will send out an email, try to get some RSVPs so we know how many folks to make cookies for. And that's about all of the announcements that I have. Does anybody else have anything for the club that you would like to share?
Can I share a couple things?
Share a couple things, Stan.
You gonna explain it to us?
I am.
We have a couple opportunities for service to get our name out and for the club to make money. Number one is on June 11th, the Outer Banks Realty Association, I think it is, does that sound right? Is having a charity golf tournament, and we have been invited to, well, of course, sponsor a hole, but we can also set up a tent, hand out brochures, or if some people are very aggressive, we can sell hot dogs and be a vendor at no extra cost. Our former member, Rod Nichols, brought this to our attention, but if somebody wants to volunteer, I will gladly help with this. This is on June 11th, just a couple weeks away. The second one, and I'll email this to everybody this afternoon, is two of our club members that work for the Currituck Visitors Bureau for tourists, whatever, Tamron and Kim. They are responsible for running the July 4th weekend at the Corolla Park. And they've offered us a food vendor spot from 5 to 9 on Monday, July the 5th. And they get about 7,000 people there on that weekend. And we will be one of two, as she says, real food vendors, not junk food. But she would like for us to cook hot dogs and hamburgers. And we can, if it's a good weather weekend, we can rake in the cash. If it's not, but I know a lot of people are busy over the Independence Day weekend. But I will have this out, and I would really like an immediate response on both of these so I can get back if we can do them. If somebody's going to be in town, it's probably going to take about 6 people to do the Independence Day weekend because that's a long shift of 4 hours for cooking dogs. I'd love to do it, but I'm going to be in Kansas. Carl wanted to do it, but he's going to be gone too. A lot of people have, but you'll see it in your email. Please respond to it, yay or nay. No big deal, just let us know. That's all I need. The go is over at Kilmarnock, across the bridge on the, just past the water park or before it. It's at 11:30, so probably from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Check your email for details. Quit asking me questions.
You need to mail it so you can get him straight.
It's gonna take me a while. Patsy's already tried.
For the Corolla affair, is there any possibility of arranging for a boat to get us up there for stuff? Because those 7,000 people could be driving up that 2-lane road.
You wanna get there the night before?
Yeah.
See, camp in Rosemary side. If I lived over in I'd just take my own photos. Jay has a sailboat today.
Well, yeah, for the next 2 hours. Hopefully, not gonna win. All right, thanks, Dan. Anybody else have any announcements for the club? Let's do some happy dollars. Rochelle, I'm gonna pick on you because Lori is eating. She got stuck in that 7,000 people traffic. So happy dollars if you're happy.
Our granddaughter in Nashville will not be back tomorrow. She left me a long list of things to do. I've got them done, so I will not get yelled at tomorrow. I'm happy.
Good man.
All right.
Just happy to be back with you folks.
Hey,
Yeah, good to have you back.
I'm happy to see faces that I haven't seen for a while.
$10 bill.
But Trish and George, Rosemary, I haven't seen you live.
Sometimes the road's not.
It's always good to see Bob. You know, you gotta make it a habit, you know, we can fix you up with membership. We've had cutlers here before, you know. And our guests, glad you're here. Full hand curls.
I'm just glad that Zoom will be over soon and that everybody will come to the meeting with their pants on.
Well, kind of.
I'm happy I can get back in my pants. Thank you.
I'm happy we're having a buffet again, and I encourage you all to come at the kitchen as you pass by, or bring the cup buffet back.
Amen.
I want to know what y'all do with the happy money. Do you think that make us happy?
After hours. All right, I'll put a couple in there. Number one, it's like a house or a lot of things. They said the happiest moment that any boat owners find is the day they buy and the day they sell. And I've enjoyed us. We got a 30-foot sailboat that we've had in Collington for a while, but we have 2 kids and selling's not their speed, and they have so much going on. I would say it's getting to the point where 9 out of 10 times I go out to the sailboat, it's for maintenance, and never have a boat where you spend 90% of your time just maintaining it. So if all goes well, it won't be mine tomorrow. The other one is, it's been a while. Some of y'all probably forgot that I do have an old truck. And I've had it in the shop for a year, getting bed liner sprayed, the whole truck. So the downside and the reason why it was there for a year was it needed some welding and some other things done. And the guy that had it bed liner sprayed had hired a guy that was doing some of this stuff, and he quit on him. He just called him and said, I got into some legal trouble. I'm in Virginia and I can't come back to North Carolina. So one of those kind of deals. So fortunately for everybody, his father-in-law was a welder and worked on cars for 40 years. So he came and over weekends over the past years, gotten it. It got done. The only thing I have had a challenge with, and it'll be a happy 10 or so when I actually get it back driving it, is nobody will put a windshield in a 1951 Willie's. I found one person in Currituck and the truck is there right now. And I'm crossing my fingers that that's not a flop.
Hey, do you think you'll get enough money for your sailboat to pay for the truck?
No, but that's okay. I just want the truck back. For the most part, all of that's been paid. So. Yeah.
Well, I do have, it's in my purse. I didn't know I was going to be nominated to be the Happy Dollar Girl. But I am extremely happy to be here. The reason for my absence, some of you might not have known, is my mom has been very ill. And I've been in that last 9 months in and out of hospitals with her. So 90% of my absence was my mother. The other 10 was the COVID scare. So yesterday we went for her 5th and final surgery follow-up. And it was great news. She's going to be released back to the real world in 2 weeks. And that's the best news. I'm an only child, so my mom means the world to me, and she lives in my home with me. So I'm glad to be back, and that's why I've been gone. So I apologize for kind of letting all you guys down in some other categories, but I'm back, and I will do whatever I can do to help this club going forward. So thank you.
Rochelle, wonderful to have you.
And family comes first. We all love Rotary, but it is volunteer. Don't get paid to be president. Not me. Get paid in personal satisfaction and joy that you are helping to make the world a better place. Money can come and go, and it will. But making a lasting impression stays around a bit longer. So today, I'm not sure, I won't lie, I didn't check the thing to see. I don't think Miss Hewitt was our, had our program, and they're still in New Zealand as far as I know. So before I get to our real program, does our Sergeant at Arms have any business with the club?
No, just a warning that they better start reading their Rotary. And don't forget your pins.
So Rotarian and pins, and the sheriff's going to be back every week starting in July. So I think he's going to expect this stuff.
And I have a particular request. From time to time, some members create some kind of a rowdy, noisy mess, so I can eject them from the club. I mean, I'm Sergeant at Arms. I've got to have something useful to do.
I don't know.
We'll work on that. for you.
We'll think about that one.
I know a couple of.
It might be on the bottom of the list of the next board meeting. It might get tabled. I'm not sure. So. So, well, what I've usually done, and we're going to do today, is a wonderful tradition I like to call I am a Rotarian. And I didn't come up with that, somebody else did. But basically, I'm going to pick a few folks, and I want you to give us about 5 minutes, give or take. Take would be fine. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. We haven't met in person except every other week. And it'd be nice to know a little bit more about you. And Dick, I'm going to start with you.
Good, Kevin.
I know.
Unprepared.
That's okay. You don't. Yeah.
Oh, I do a lot of things. Well, first of all, I'm the primary antique around here. I was born, well, a couple months, 90 years ago.
Hey, Dick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm supposed to look that way?
Take the podium. So
Over here?
There you go. Well,
Good.
that's a great idea, Stan. I knew we kept you around
What
for
a
some reason.
position of power this is. I'm staring down at everybody in the club. Well, okay, so I was born a long time ago in Chicago, my beloved city. On ABC this morning, they were sponsoring Chicago in the Good Morning America, GMA. Anyway, I came to Washington in '56. I spent the rest of my working life in Washington as a bureaucrat, overwhelmingly in the U.S. Agency for International Development. And talked to my dad, this is 60-some years ago, talked to my dad into buying a place over here in Harbinger. He did, and I inherited it 46 years ago or something like that. So that was our part-time place for a long time. It's our full-time place now, our only place. And then one place is enough to try to keep up. When I retired, I think it's 33 years ago, and I've enjoyed it. The first thing I did when I retired, I immediately, in fact, I did this before I retired. I went to the University of Maryland. They have a program called the Golden something program. And anyway, if you're a Maryland resident, you could take classes free at the university. Pretty much any course you wanted, so long as you weren't crowding out somebody who paid. And so I did a PhD. It took me 10 years to do it. So I did a PhD in history, mostly American, with some English, other miscellaneous histories thrown in there. Because since I could take the classes for free, as many as I wanted, I just kept taking more classes. It took me 10 years to get the degree simply because there were so many interesting classes to take. It's a great way of spending your time when you're retired. So anyway, that's the story.
When did you join Rotary?
Oh, when did I join Rotary? Somewhere around 99, I think. The Potomac Rotary Club. And I think it was the year of 01, 02, or maybe 02, 03, I was the president of the club. And we had a pretty large club. It was a lunch club. For years, we met at Normandy Farms Inn, if you happen to know the Potomac area at all. And I think it has become a breakfast club now, and meets somewhere on Rockville Pike, although I haven't been up that way for meetings for a long time. The interesting thing about the club is I'm ashamed because I do not remember his name. And he was a long time, he was or is a long time member of the club. He is the one who came up with the idea that Rotary should undertake a polio reduction program. As the story has come to me, he was on a board, Rotary board. They were having a meeting in Evanston, which was my hometown also for a period of time. And they were looking for some long time project for Rotary International to undertake, and for the new century. And apparently, first of all, he was the director of, I think this is correct, Children's Hospital in DC. Director of pediatrics of the Children's Hospital, something like that. Anyway, he was aware that in the Philippines, there was an effort to do away with polio. It's been limited to the Philippines, but they were having some success, apparently. So he said a worldwide reduction or elimination of polio would be a great project. And that was voted apparently by the board to be Rotary's project. And the work was started, I believe, down in Central America. That's where the first efforts took place. And then somewhere along the way, the World Health Organization joined in. It became a UN project, if you will. And then, of course, as I'm sure many of you know, the Gates Foundation contributed millions to the endeavor. And most recently, I believe that the entire continent of Africa has been declared polio-free, wild polio. There's no more of it. And the only place where it still occurs, am I correct in this, Stan? It's just in Afghanistan and Pakistan on the border of those two countries, where it fluctuates back and forth. They have a real problem in that area, getting the people to settle down more. They're nomadic tribes to some extent. And you also have the war situation and so forth. It's hard to get people to accept the vaccine or to get the vaccines out to the people. So, someone else, please.
Let's see here. I don't want to pick Kearns. He came to help us out with the board meeting. Gosh, he won't show up for another 8 months. You're like, I'm already helping out enough. Everybody's ducking out. I know, right? I'll tell you what, I hate to pick from the same one twice. Stephanie, I'm gonna pick you. Give us the short.
Okay, we ended up here about 14 years ago or so. We used to visit here with friends of ours from the university. We're both retired from Frostburg State University in Frostburg, Maryland. And we started coming down here, and we liked it so much that we decided to look for a place. So we found a small place on Inlet Court. It's a little roundhouse. Our main house in Collington. Our main house is in far western Maryland, almost West Virginia. It's up in the mountains, and we go there when it gets hot here. And we come down here from March through June, and we're hoping to get down again in October. And if we're here, if we can get all of our appointments scheduled, we'll try and get down here for Oink and Oyster. Okay, I was born in Kentucky, but I never grew up there because my father worked for the government, and we were always being transferred here, there, and everywhere. And then when I was an adult, I spent some time in Central and South America, about 5 years, in American schools out of the country. Came back to the States, finished my degree, and then started teaching. First, I was teaching in Huntsville, Texas. I was doing pre-kindergarten when I was working on my master's. And then when I finished, I was working with Chapter 1 first grade, which is children who have developmental needs. So they had special needs. And then Lindsay went back to graduate school. I followed him, and I was working teaching kindergarten in Indiana because he was going to IU, Indianapolis, Indiana University at Bloomington. And he got a job in Western Maryland. So I was going to teach there, found out there were no teaching openings at that time. As a matter of fact, we went down there to look for a place to stay. We saw on the front page of the paper that teachers were getting their pink slips because there was no money to pay the teachers. So I thought, well, that's not going to work. So he had a job, thank goodness. So I started looking around, and we went to an introduction to new faculty to the university, and I followed him with that. Met some people in the education department, and they were looking for a teacher part-time, and found out that I had a degree, and so they asked me to come and work for them. So at the time I decided, okay, if I want to do this full-time, maybe I should go ahead and get the terminal degree. So I went back and forth over the mountains in West Virginia for several years and got the terminal degree and worked for Frostburg State. And we've both been retired now about 7 years. So we have more time to come down here and stay. And I love the Rotary Club here. It's a wonderful group of people. We try and do what we can when we're here, but we're here part-time and in Maryland part-time because for some reason they won't let us join 2 clubs. But I was just reading an article in the April Rotary magazine. It's about a young woman who worked with Rotaract, but she also was able to join Rotary. So apparently you're able to do those 2 together, but not 2 full Rotaries. So that's how we ended up here.
When did you join Rotary?
You talked us into it. We had joined in Maryland, gosh, it must be shortly after we retired, I guess, because then we had more time.
Yeah.
And then, well, I joined here. Half a dozen years ago. Yeah, half a dozen years ago, something like
We
that.
worked it out. Couldn't get you both, but we got one.
Yeah, he's a member there, and I'm a member here because we can't do both. So.
Thank you. You guys and Stan. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank
On
you.
behalf of Mark's family and the friends that are here in tribute to Mark's passing, we're having this memorial bench, a simple bench, placed facing the western sunsets right opposite Mark's house on Haven Park. If you can't be there Monday to watch the ceremony, drop in anytime. The sun and the moon will be there. And Mark will be there too. Thank you very much for your support.
All right.
We'll see you Monday.
We'll see you
Thank you,
Monday, Bob. All right, and you guys, just like Stan, I think y'all were guests of the club for at least a year or two before.
Oh, yeah, I shopped around.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had to check them all out.
you got the best one.
Well, I was still a member back.
Yeah, yeah.
Couldn't
So-
join two clubs.
Anyway, thank y'all for sharing. And it's always interesting. Got your PhD after you retired. That's awesome. I never cease it to amaze me when you do that. I am a Rotarian. Some of the things you find out about people that you never would have thought. So anyway, thank you guys for sharing. Does anybody else have anything to share with the club? Anybody online have anything to share before we head out? Hearing nothing, let's adjourn with the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Service above self. Thanks a lot, guys. Great to see y'all. Great to see everybody online.
You guys.